I'm Jennifer Gilson, and I'm your student's Algebra 2 trig teacher this year. I'm thrilled to be at Miramonte this year and working with these wonderful students. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here tonight at Back to School. I teach a split assignment for Akalani's district, which means I also work at another campus. So unfortunately, I'm there tonight. But I look forward to meeting you all at Open House. I'll be here then in February. Please enjoy the remainder of my presentation where I explain a little bit about the course, what are some tips for helping your students be successful, also what is Common Core and how is it changing the way we teach or what our expectations of students are. Of course, my contact information is also there, and I look forward to communicating with all of you throughout the year and hopefully getting a chance to meet some of you. Have a wonderful night.
So a little bit about me, my background. I do have my degree in mathematics. I did a master's degree a few years ago with an emphasis on technology so that I could help integrate technology into the classroom. I've been teaching high school for quite a while. When I'm not busy working, I'm very busy with my kids. They are 8 and 4 and 2. And I try to squeeze in some hobbies for myself when I have time. Here's my contact information. You can always find this on the web page, or you can contact me through School Loop. You can always call the school and leave me a voicemail additionally, but email is the best way to reach me. One thing I'd like to share with you is my teaching philosophy. I really believe that communication is an important part of being a teacher. So I use School Loop as a communication tool, but it's really just one tool. I like to encourage students to feel comfortable speaking with me at any time about their grades or about how things are going in the class. And if your student's having an issue, I'd like you to encourage them to come speak with me first, and then hopefully we can resolve it. I also want to emphasize the importance of homework, that it's such a critical part of the learning process. And students, I hope that they would take responsibility for their own learning. I know that when they have a vested interest in their learning and they feel like it's worthwhile, they have a lot more success. So some tips for success. You may have seen this list. It came home on the course policies page. Couple of quick things. Homework is the most important part of this class. Students should see homework like practicing the piano or practicing to play a sport. They're skills that need to be practiced in order to be learned and mastered. Also, I'd like students to make sure that they're preparing for class by completing homework and checking answers. I often post answers and solutions to homework. And also reading the next section. Reading ahead helps students because when I present it, they've seen it for a second time. And it allows them to ask better questions and think more critically and thoughtfully about the material. Also important for students to participate in class. We do a lot of talking or pair sharing or a lot of math speak, and it's a really important part of the class to be able to talk about things and to share your opinions. I like all my students to take notes in class. It's really important that they're writing down definitions, rules, or modeled examples, and those are meant to be helpful for them when they start the homework, that they could go back through their notes and remember the things that we did in class. Lastly, if they don't already have someone, I would encourage your student to find a study partner. Study partners help each other. You can talk through things. One person might be helping when another person's teaching, and of course we all know that sometimes as a teacher, that's the best way to learn as well. So School Loop, most of the things that I'm posting on School Loop are in the calendar. So the calendar contains the homework assignment. It would also include homework solutions or answers. The calendar would contain test dates, and whenever possible I try to take any worksheets or notes from class and make them attachments in the calendar. So if your student is absent and they're looking for worksheets or handouts or even notes, go through the calendar. They're usually attachments for the homework assignment or as part of the daily lesson. I do post grades on School Loop and try to approximate them about every 2 weeks, but it's usually more often. There's also a link on School Loop for homework help, and I would encourage students to use that. It's a Google form where they can submit the questions they have that they'd like me to review the next day, where they give me specific feedback about what they'd like to see or what their questions are. And then I check that every day, and that helps me prepare for class and make the most of our time together. I'd like to encourage you to register through School Loop with your own email and not just through your student's email, so that if I need to contact you or if we want to communicate through School Loop, we can. One final note about School Loop. Even though I try to be very diligent about posting things to School Loop, sometimes I am not. So please make sure students understand that they are responsible for all information that's given out in class, like test dates and homework assignments, even if they're not posted on School Loop. So Common Core is our big thing this year. We're moving into Common Core and transitioning into Common Core. We're mostly going to be hitting all the Common Core standards this year, but the big transitional changes will be implementing the 8 mathematical practices of Common Core, and that includes integrating what we call performance tasks into our curriculum. So these are the 8 mathematical standards, and as you can see, the 8 mathematical standards are supposed to help students grasp maths. So these are some of the different tips and tools and strategies that we want them to start to employ as they work through problems. So we're no longer interested in just the right answer, but we want them to be able to justify their answers. We want them to be able to cite why this is true or not true. We want them to be able to state what are the appropriate tools for solving this problem, or what are the rules that you see, or what are the strategies that we can come up with to solve problems. Essentially, Common Core is hoping to take students from just being answer finders to problem solvers. I'm fairly confident, very, very confident this year that with Common Core, the great implementation that we're going to do with the 8 mathematical practices, the wonderful staff here at Miramonte, and the hardworking students, that we're going to have a fabulous year. Just so you know, if there are any hiccups along the way, extra help is available for students. Even though I'm not on campus in the morning, they can meet with me at lunch or after school by appointment. There's also math tutoring available every day at lunch in room 233 and during period 7 also in room 233. And students may also email me for help. I'd like to thank all of you for your ongoing support, the support that you give all the staff at Miramonte and all the programs that you help support, and know that we'll have a great journey and a very successful year. Thank you so much.